very well save your life.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos, and we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Today, we're going to be looking at a very specific case. The reason that this case was brought to our attention, of course, you guys are all familiar with the Devil's Den, the recent murder of Kristen and Clinton Brink. Right now, suspect is in custody by the name of Andrew James McGann. Well, after covering this case and the capture of the suspect, another case kind of popped up on our radar, the Devil's Lake murder. It's an unsolved homicide of John Craig Schmutzer. What do you guys know about this case? He was 24 years old. He was an investment banker or banking analyst from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, who was stabbed to death on October 14th, 2020. At Devil's Lake State Park near Baraboo, Wisconsin. This is the state's most popular park, attracting over 3 million visitors annually. And the crime shocked the community due to its apparent randomness, right? Exactly like the Devil's Den. And there are a lot of similarities. Welcome in Caricature, CJK, She Warrior Eli, Pitbull Mom, Copper. Good to see you, Copper. Hope you're doing good. Jari. Who did I miss? All right, that's everybody so far. All right, let's take a look here. So John Craig Schmutzer, born in 1996. Schmutzer was a 2014 graduate of Wauwatosa West High School and a 2018 University of Wisconsin-Madison alumnus with a degree in finance. He worked as an analyst at a Milwaukee area investment firm. Friends described him as non-hostile, adventurous, and kind-hearted. He was hiking alone during a solo trip, having visited Madison, Wildcat Mountain State Park, and Laval area just days prior. An autopsy confirmed he died from multiple stab wounds classified as homicidal violence. Okay, let's pull up some things that I was working on here. Okay, bear with me. I'm trying to pull something up for you. I have to click like 10 buttons just to share my video or share my screen. Okay, so I found this very interesting. Pull it up on Google Maps. So we know when it comes to the Devil's Den crime scene, it was near the visitor center and it was on this trail, right? And this trail really is just one big loop. But something interesting about this trail is right here in the middle, or kind of somewhat in the middle, you can take a shortcut. Now, if you're a killer or thinking like a hunter, this would be an excellent ambush point, right? You could stalk your victim right here as they pass by. You can wait a long time to see if anybody's going to be following behind. And then by the time they're kind of starting to wrap around, you can just kind of cut them off over here. Or vice versa, right? So the Devil's Den murder trail here. Take a look at Devil's Lake murder trail. Very similar. It's like a one big loop. But something very interesting about this loop is smack dab in the middle is a shortcut. In both cases, the individual escaped very, in a very similar fashion. They believe he may have been cut. There is DNA. And as we speak right now, they are comparing Andrew Andrew's DNA with DNA found at this crime scene here at Devil's Lake with John. What's going on, She Warrior? Mark, what's up? Patty, welcome in. Grunge, good to see you. Yeah, red wolves, right? Are red foxes. Don't they scream at night? I wonder why they do that. So this is just kind of a theory I was looking at before we went live. So just entertain me. Look at the comparison. Devil's Lake on the left, Devil's Den on the right. They both have this looping trail that goes up over like a hilltop or a small mountainside where you can hike along the cliff's edge, and then over to the other side where you go back down to lower terrain. But once you're up in the middle at the top, you have an elevated view of the entire park. So you could stalk people down below. Devil's Den, Devil's Lake. Not only are they similar, the names are similar, especially if somebody is fixated on the devil. Here's the two trails side by side. See, one big loop, shortcut down the middle, one big loop, shortcut down the middle. All right, let's hear a little bit more about John's case here. Okay, date and location, October 14th, 2020, around 11 a.m. on the Grottoes Trail. So Grottoes Trail, excuse me, is right here. Grunge says, I guess it's more dangerous for a woman to be on the trails, but you never know. Yeah, don't let your guards down, men. You know, this guy, when I was young, I think he was 24 years old. When I was 24, I would take off and go long distances just to go fishing at a specific lake. You know, when you're young like that, you can do anything. I mean, I think I would pass out, drink like a small bottle of whiskey, pass out in the back of my truck, no sleeping bag, no nothing. Wake up, grab my fishing, my tackle, and all my gear, go fishing for 4 or 5 hours, and drive back. I mean, I could have very well have been murdered at any point, just laying there in my truck, right? Some Koberger type jumps back there and just shoves a knife into me. Wouldn't even see it coming. Caricature. I wonder if he ever looked at Devil's Lake, Michigan. Are there any other unsolved stabbings on trails that start with devils? I mean, it's kind of a spooky name. Yep, law enforcement always recommends not to do that. And it's true, right? But if you're like me, I'm constantly watching my back. It's just something that I've just an instinct I developed growing up on the streets, in the city streets. Just constantly, I'm just always look behind me. Okay, so this would be Devil's Lake. And I'm not exactly sure where John parked, but there's a parking area right down here. And what I'll do is I'll pull it up on the map so it's easier to see. But after the killing, the killer was seen here traveling up towards the other parking lot. And I'll show you that in more detail in just a second. So I'm assuming he parked here at this trail, right? I'm assuming. But if he's going to just do a quick lap around this, this is a perfect lap. An easy way to kind of plan out a trip. Well, I'll do the whole lap right here. Looks like a couple miles. So if the suspect is standing right here, waiting, stalking its prey, maybe looking for a lone individual, an unsuspecting young male, with who doesn't have like a really large, intimidating stature, might be a good target. Nobody's expecting for a psychopath to jump out of the trees and start plunging a knife into them. It's just something that most people don't think of. Now, you that follow true crime, I know you guys are probably just as paranoid as I am. Everybody's a potential serial killer in my eyes. I quit wearing earbuds when I'm out walking. I want to be able to hear someone if they're coming up on me. Absolutely. Just keep checking behind you as well. So if John was getting ready to make a quick loop, this is about, I think, around 11:30 a.m. So this would be a good position for the killer to stalk their prey, watching families, individuals walk by, right? So here's a close-up. This is a street view of this exact point right here. And I went ahead and added Andrew. Andrew James McGann. So now just imagine John walking by right here. So he would be right here standing, looking at this trail and watching everybody kind of walk by. The blue represents John's path. The red, obviously, is the predator. When I was doing these illustrations here, Grunge, I couldn't help but thinking of Rachel Morin, because she was attacked in a very similar way and at a very similar point. Here, let me see if I can show that to you. That's a good example. Thanks for bringing that up. Rachel Morin was savagely beaten and raped. It was almost as if while she was being sexually assaulted, she was having the back of her head smashed in with a rock. I mean, it's virtually a miracle that they caught the guy. All right. Doesn't look like I saved some of the information on here. But either way, same thing with Rachel. So she was attacked at basically kind of like, you see how this trail kind of bends right here? So it's basically like she walked past her attacker right here, and as she took the trail, he cut through the trees and then ambushed her like over here somewhere and then drug her off into the woods. So yeah, it's the same thing. You know, it's like a choke point. It's an ambush point. So if they are connected, here's Andrew, right? This was the photograph that was released in the Devil's Den attack. But I placed him here at Devil's Lake, right? This could be him seeming just like a normal person, just another trail goer. And then you have John walk right by, right? Walks by. Andrew considers it. That would be an easy target. I wonder if he's with anybody or if there's anybody nearby. All he would have to do is really kind of hang out here for like 15, 20 minutes. He knows that that gives him 20 minutes before anybody is going to walk up onto the crime scene. If he turns around and cuts him off on this side. And this is the trail that he was murdered on, somewhere along this trail. And the killer doesn't have to remain on this trail here. He could cut through. He could be anywhere in between here, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the event horizon, you know, when you how do you time travel? You bend space and time like a sheet of paper, and then you poke a hole through it. And then you have a wormhole. That's basically the approach he's taking here. The trails kind of fold over on each other, and he's just time traveling to get in front of his target. At Best Buy that you can turn on to hear through mode. Oh, that's cool. Is that ambient? Ambient? Thanks, Jari. Yep. If you guys cannot hit the Cash App, hit the like button. But if you can, yeah, hit the Cash App. We're 100% crowd funded, and we need all the help we can get, especially with the boots on the ground stuff, with the gas money and things like that. Speeds it up for us. We have to sit around and wait for YouTube. Thank you, Jari. Actually, if you want any Sleuth Crew merch, just email me and I'll tell you how to get it. And I'll give you prices and things like that. I'll hook you up. Okay, so he would most likely, right, wait over here. Targeting, this would be, I guess, the targeting portion of his plan or his plot. Just wait for him to pass by. There's really nowhere else for them to go, right? Once he locks on to his target, he knows they're most likely going to come right around. Okay, now this would be him on the other side, waiting. You know, hiding in the trees, maybe hiding behind a tree over here. But he would already be over here kind of looking around, checking things out before his victim even came around the corner. So he can kind of look around, do his recon. All right, nobody's over here on this side of the trail. I'm going to hide, and then I'll ambush that guy that I saw. So that's something that I've noticed between the two trails. They both kind of make a loop and have an ambush point included. Some kind of Devil's Trail serial killer, perhaps. All right, let's pull this up. So this was Andrew's, the Devil's Den suspect. This was his basically a list of his previous addresses and places that he's teaching, right? Springdale, Bigsby. And what's interesting about Springdale is it's right across the border from Bigsby. Kind of reminds me of Brian Koberger. Different jurisdictions and things like that. So maybe there's some unsolved stuff over here that he might be responsible for. We know he's got a thing for young girls. You know, parents have complained about that. And also, he spent some of his younger years over here in Chicago. So we have Chicago, Denver, Colorado, Dallas, Texas, Bigsby, and Springdale. All right, let's pull up the map. Let's find out where Devil's Lake fits in with all of this. Okay, so remember, he has history right here in Chicago. Devil's Lake State Park is right here. Now let's look at his previous addresses here. Where did I put those? I just had it up too. Where did I put it? Oh, okay, there it is. I hate when I do that. You spend all this time trying to get organized, and you're still not organized. What the? Okay, so Dallas, Texas, Bigsby, Oklahoma, Chicago. And then we have the dates too. So 2021, he was in Denver. Bigsby, Oklahoma from 2019. And from Chicago, He lived in Chicago from 2009 to 2019. So it looks like that's where he grew up. So he would have moved from Chicago and went directly to Bixby. Did he commit the murders while visiting? To like 109 miles? Okay, 150 miles. So, I mean, that's not very far at all. Here, let me put that on this map. Somewhere up here. So, I mean, it's the exact same MO. Okay, Schmutzer was attacked in what investigators believe was a random encounter. No motive like robbery or personal grudge has been established. He likely didn't see the attack coming as he was alone and the killer fled immediately. Witnesses reported hearing nothing unusual, but a large police presence soon followed. The park was briefly closed for the investigation. Passerby found Schmutzer's body and called authorities. First responders confirmed the death as suspicious, leading to a joint probe by the Sauk County Sheriff's Office and Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, DNR. A male suspect, approximately 5'10" to 6 feet tall, slender to average build, right? Matches our guy. Here, let's do this. Last seen wearing dark pants. Right? Matches our guy right here. Dark pants. Possibly a dark top. Possibly a hoodie. Look at our guy. Wearing a dark top. The jeans that were reported in John's case were ripped at the knees. So I don't know. Does he have ripped jeans at all? I don't remember. A dark head or face coverings. You see this? He has one of those pullovers right here. He can easily pull this up over his face. He was not dressed in typical running or hiking gear. I mean, that describes Andrew. The only thing that makes him really look like he's hiking is this camelback. Welcome in Odinite Hater. Somewhere in Canada. Inquisitive, what up? Poos, what's up? See if there is a college town near Wisconsin I live in North Chicago. Lots of people, Illinois, Wisconsin, to hike, etc. I mean, that's basically where the Devil's Lake is. 150 miles outside of Chicago. Okay, let's see what else I got here in my notes. Okay, dubbed the runner by investigators. He was seen by over 15 witnesses fleeing frantically north from the South Shore parking lot toward the East Bluff Trail and North Shore area. Okay, let's do this. Let's pull this back up. What up, Boston? Flexing those biceps. Thank you. Flex on them. Okay, here's Devil's Den, or excuse me, Devil's Lake. So it looks like the main access point to the park is right off here off of Park Road, and it looks like, what is that? The DL? DL, so the 113 highway to the DL or the 136 to the DL. And there's like a million places to park. So if you come in here, you have a quartzite campground. Makes you wonder if the killer was camping. He did run in that direction. There's another campground on the other side. But if you keep driving down Park Road, right here, it'll bring you to these different parking areas. Now, if you remember what I just read, here, let me read this again now that I have this up. So the suspect was dubbed the runner. He was seen by over 15 witnesses fleeing frantically north from the South Shore parking lot toward the East Bluff Trail. So here's the East Bluff Trail. So he was seen by 15 people. They don't, and I haven't found a sketch. If there's a sketch, if you guys could send it to me, I haven't found one. Okay, so the location that John was killed on, Grotto's Trail, is right here. This is the Grotto's Trail. Remember, I was showing you the shortcut right here. It kind of wraps around. Well, after John was killed, the suspect was spotted right here in this area momentarily. So I don't know if he took the wrong turn right here, went into the wrong parking area. But over 15 people seen him between this location and running up this way. So all through this area, all the way to the East Bluff Trailhead. And I don't think there was any sightings of him after this. So I'm assuming he was parked here just like he was, if it's the same guy, right? Very similar. Everything down to the way the individual escaped and everything. What's up, Goat Dog? Yep, he is the runner. Same thing with the Devil's Den. The guy kind of bounced out of there. So why would the killer walk so far? Because he probably picked this area out right here. I think we could have the same guy. Now, don't forget, in the Devil's Den case, they sent the DNA over here to see if they can match it with John's killer. So if they're connected, we're going to know here in probably a couple weeks. Okay, so let's see. Parking lot toward the East Bluff Trail in the North Shore area. He ran out of control, falling multiple times, crossing in front of traffic, and appearing distressed. He may have carried a knife. Well, they're quoting the press conference, so let's just go watch that right now. Close down some of my images here. Oh, you guys want to hear Andrew McGann's voicemail? I called him and recorded it. Here, let's listen to that.
Hello, you've reached Andrew McGann. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Did you guys hear that? So the Devil's Den suspect, Andrew McGann, I called his phone number this morning because I was doing some research on him, and it said the phone was active. So I called it, and this is what I got. Turn it up a little bit for you. You guys can hear that, right?
Hello, you've reached Andrew McGann. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Hello, you've reached Andrew McGann. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
A third and fourth grade teacher. That shit's scary right there, guys.
Hello, you've reached Andrew McGann. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you, Copper. Goat dog. He's probably similar to Gary Hilton and lived in the national park. Like a squatter. I should have left a message. Hey, Andrew, make sure you like and subscribe, buddy. Here, we'll play it one more time for the people in the back. Sounds normal, like a normal person.
Hello, you've reached Andrew McGann. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Sounds like Brian Koberger. All right, let's go ahead and watch this presser. This is shortly after John was killed.
Everybody ready? Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming here today. Next to me are Chief Warden Casey Kruger from the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources and Sauk County Detective Lieutenant Chris Zunker.
Yeah, he sounds like him.
As all of you are aware, the Sauk County Sheriff's Office and the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources have been jointly working on a homicide investigation from an incident that occurred on Wednesday, October 14th at around 11:30 a.m. at Devil's Lake State Park here in Sauk County. Today, while we won't be providing any updates on evidence results, crime scene details, or specific progress in our investigation, we want to share with you information that we believe may assist us in identifying the person responsible for this death.
So let me show you how desperate they were for information. Check out this video.
Find one state park visitor in connection with a homicide.
And this kind of reminded me of the Delphi murders as well. Remember, they asked for the bridge guy to come forward, not because he was a suspect, just because he had been unidentified, and they were hoping that he might have helpful information, maybe on his camera or something. He may have seen somebody. Well, they found a guy similar to that, but 3 days after John was murdered at Devil's Lake, and they tried to identify him through the news. And I don't know if they ever identified this guy. So, but this is interesting. This is how desperate they were, though.
One state park visitor in connection with a homicide in October at Devil's Lake. Tonight, they're still asking for your help.
In a story you'll see only on 27 News, Tony Galley reports on what this man did
This guy right
to
there.
arouse suspicion.
This guy right here on the left. He looks like he's Indian, like from India. I don't know if they still or if they're still looking for him, but apparently, with the knowledge of the statistics of killers returning back to the crime scene, which is a real thing, they were very interested in this guy. Apparently, he was acting very strange while he was there, enough that people took a photograph of him and turned it into police.
We're working this case every day.
5 months after authorities say a stranger murdered 24-year-old John Schmutzer on a trail in Devil's Lake State Park, investigators are focused on this photo of park visitors, especially the man with the phone on the left.
We were able to receive an identification on the other two people in the photograph within a couple hours of that Facebook post.
A recent sheriff's Facebook post of that photo was not the first time.
Just seeing these masks makes my stomach hurt. So disgusting.
Authorities reached out to the public about this man on the left. Days after the homicide, without mentioning the killing, they posted the man's photo alone, asking him to contact them. They are still looking for this mystery man for a specific reason.
There was some behavior or mannerisms that he was engaging in at the time that that photo was taken or during that time that were curious to us.
He didn't look familiar even when I saw him again in the picture with me.
That second Facebook post reached 329,000 people.
So
I mean, they're literally looking for a guy that has no connection to the crime, that was just acting weird 3 days later. Like that's all they have. I mean, that's depressing. What are you referring to, Go? Oh, don't use your real name and phone number, but make sure you tape your conversation. Say that you found that his name is listed as a possible suspect. That'd be sneaky. This was something that was put out recently.
Double murder in Arkansas has led to a re-examination of an unsolved stabbing death at Devil's Lake State Park in Sauk County. The victim killed while hiking alone. Megan Lee brings us the new details.
A chilling murder in Arkansas at a state park is now sparking concern from law enforcement here in Wisconsin. They are now looking into leads that the suspect in those killings, Andrew McGann, could be connected to the unsolved murder of John Schmutzer in 2020 at Devil's Lake State Park.
I still believe that there's a person or our people who know who is responsible for John's death.
That statement made in 2021 by now retired Lieutenant Chris Zunker with the Sauk County Sheriff's Office. Now the case is being re-examined after the brutal murder of Clinton and Kristen Brink. They were hiking with their two daughters at Devil's Den State Park in Arkansas on July 26th, a name very similar to Devil's Lake State Park about 2 hours west from here in Milwaukee, where Schmutzer was stabbed to death.
We just simply think that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was alone. It was probably an attack that he did not see coming.
According to a detective with the Sauk County Sheriff's Office, a week after McGann's arrest in Arkansas, authorities received several tips referencing him. Now, DNA has been requested from Arkansas to determine if he could be connected or ruled out from John's case.
Yeah, so they're taking this pretty seriously. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm not leaving a voicemail. I doubt he'll ever be able to check his voicemails again. That phone's just going to die off pretty soon. Take a closer look at Devil's Lake. Take some screenshots here. It's beautiful. Mark says cops are listening to it, in my opinion. You know what? Cops don't do a lot of things that you assume that they're doing. That's one thing that I've learned. You know, we just assume that they're doing certain things, but a lot of times they're not. So remember, the same thing that's going to attract a sadistic killer, or the same thing that attracts us, right, to these beautiful locations, is the same thing that attracts sadistic killers. The only difference is we're there to experience and have a great time, enjoy Mother Nature, maybe some family time, some team bonding, whatever it is, you know. Maybe you're having a business meeting or something out there. Who knows what you're doing on a first date? Whatever it is, you're out there enjoying yourselves. But when it comes to a sadistic killer, he thinks that that place is beautiful as well. But when he's on the trails, he's asking himself, like, is this a good ambush point? You know, could I, are there any pivotal points where I can see people coming and going, and also where I can target my victims without being seen? Yep, that's true. Person just can't hike alone anymore. Too dangerous. Yeah, you got to keep that thing on you. They call it the great equalizer for a reason. But the truth is, even if these guys had a firearm on them, especially in John's case, doesn't mean that he's going to have an opportunity to pull it out. That's cool. I mean, you could always bring your drone with you, right? With a thermal camera. Get to your spot, put that drone up in the sky, make sure there's nobody out there. Have it follow you. You can just keep an eye on the screen and make sure nobody's creeping up on you. It's a little elaborate, but see, and I could see the killer kind of up here somewhere, right? Just kind of sitting down, maybe even hiding and just watching everybody. It's gorgeous. I love places like this. 150 miles from what looks to be maybe his hometown or someplace that he spent a lot of time during his younger years. Now, this is right near the parking lot where they saw the killer in John's case. So they seen him over here, and then he ran up towards the other parking area, which is not a short distance. Maybe this was his first time. Yeah, I agree with that, Boston. I think a lot of times these sadistic types, I think they just get lucky. It's not like they're some sophisticated criminal. I think really what it is they pick the location because they know that they're going to kind of rage out to where they black out maybe. So if they can find a location like this, you know, the location will do most of the work for them. Gives them some wiggle room as far as making mistakes and things. So I thought this was an interesting photo right here. This is the street view. And it's looking down on the trail that John was killed on. So you could literally stand here and kind of hide in the trees and watch people walk by. And I feel like that's what happened with the Devil's Den murders. They look the same, similar names, close by to an area that's very familiar with the Devil's Den suspect. All right, guys, what do you think? This will be our 5-10 minute warning. So this will be our introduction to John Schmutzer's case. We'll refer to it as the Devil's Lake murder. And right now, they believe that they're connected. This case is connected to the Devil's Den killing. The suspect in that case is Andrew James McGann. We could take a look at him again. I mean, he just looks creepy, guys. Hello, my name is Andrew McGann. I am very excited to join the Dolphin family as a 4th grade math and writing teacher. I graduated from Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes! In May with a bachelor's in elementary education. I have been a substitute for the past 2 years in Tulsa County, Oklahoma, and a student teacher for the spring of 2022 semester in Broken Arrow Public Schools in a 4th grade math and science classroom. Holy shit. It's definitely somebody who has spent a lot of time in that place at some time, maybe when they were young, and they just need to figure out what links the two wackadoos. Well, evidence is going to tell us. And what's interesting is that, remember when we heard about what this killer was wearing? He was wearing these weird biker / weightlifting gloves. And while we were profiling the killer, what did we say? Well, he probably did this before, and he made a mistake and cut his hand. So he wanted to fix that and evolve as a killer. You know, those are signs that they've done it before, that they're learning from mistakes that they've made in the past. So that's the first thing I thought of when I heard about those gloves. He didn't necessarily care about his fingerprints, but he definitely cared about losing the knife or having the knife slip, but it still slipped anyway. So if he would have gotten away and committed a murder again in a year or less, in less time, he probably would have evolved even more, deciding to put on a different type of glove, something to protect his hands more. Thank you, Jari. But yeah, it sounds like it could be the same guy. make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. Thanks for hanging out for this live stream. If you're part of the replay crew, you know exactly what to do. Drop a comment. We'll get back to you. We'll most likely be live tonight. Been trying to get an open panel going where we can just talk about any case we want to. Delphi murders. Any updates on what's going on with Brian Koberger and things like that. So tonight, if you guys are interested in doing an open panel, keep an eye out for that. And I have been working behind the scenes on getting some things organized for the channel, some special guests for you. So that is in the work. I'll keep you guys posted. Keep a lookout for that. We have multiple people coming on here in the next couple weeks. So that should be interesting and very impactful for the channel and for you guys who support the channel. So remember, we're 100% crowd-funded. So if you can hit the Cash App, that'd be great. No pressure. If you can't hit the Cash App, hit the like button. It's right there. Consider becoming a member even. And if you're feeling extra froggy, go share the video on social media. A lot of you don't do that, but it helps. Yeah, he has that look. So we're talking right now. I'll give you a little bit of hint on one of the guests that I'm trying to get on right now. One's verified. We're just working on scheduling the other. We're in communication. We're working on it. Is a very popular and famous former FBI profiler. It's a woman. So we'll see. We'll see if we'll have an update on that one. But as far as the other guest, that update should be coming extremely soon. Stay tuned. So you guys keep a lookout for those notifications. And remember, hit the like button on your way out. And if you need to get a hold of me, just shoot me an email, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting your hands on some merch, shoot me an email. I'll go over some prices with you. I'll hook you up. All right, guys. Until next time, peace.
I rest my case.